All right, welcome back to Fast Money. Shares of Nike getting hit today, down over 2.5%. This follows some bad news from Asia and a knocking note from BTIG. It is your call of the day. BTIG cutting Nike to neutral, citing major supply chain disruptions from its COVID-driven factory shutdowns overseas. The analyst saying this, quote, "We expect the risk of significant cancellations beginning this holiday and running through at least next spring has risen materially for Nike, as it is now facing at least 2 months of virtually no unit production at its Vietnamese factories, which represent just over half of its total capacity." Karen, 2 months, nearly no production, and 51%, I believe, its total production capacity in Asia just ahead of the holidays. Wow. Your take.
I'm not sure if Nikes of the world have already gotten any of the shipments. I assume they've gotten some shipments for the fourth quarter. The part that is lasting to spring, that's kind of amazing. But we're seeing it again and again. We saw it with Restoration Hardware having to delay some of their new concept stores. We saw it with Lululemon saying, as great as the quarter was, they left sales on the table because of production from Vietnam. So this is a pretty pervasive problem. I think that Nike's kind of expensive here. If anyone will be able to source product well, it would be they, I would think. But I think that this is a real problem. And so with this multiple up here, I'm kind of staying away from Nike.
Anybody in the group, raise your hand. Could I get Seawall on a weird... there, no, I can Seawall on the television. Got a different take on the Nike? Tim's hand was up first.
So my view is that Karen's right, and ultimately the valuation for Nike at around 46 times forward, far from cheap, although it's a multiple that over the last few years, I think based upon both pricing power, and again, Nike will offset a lot of that production shortfall in pricing power, and I think they'll probably net it out to, minus 8 or 9%, so not as bad as you think. I just think that this is a company that continues to execute in terms of innovation. Their North American business, to me, which again is part of what will drive those sales out of Vietnam, I think continues just to be so strong that the multiple stays here. I look at the charts and I think around 150, a break of that is going to be difficult for this stock. But right now, look at Restoration and look at Lulu with those announcements have gone back to near all-time highs.
Guy, your take too, because I want to highlight this. Maybe this is Nike specific because they are more heavily into Vietnam because everybody said get out of China. They did. Now we see this. There could be other companies. 2 months of almost no production just ahead of the holidays. I mean, I know people think supply chain disruption is such a boring topic. This is a big deal.
No, it's a huge deal. I think you make a great point. I mean, I can't speak to other companies' exposure to Vietnam, but I do think it's not just Nike. I mean, it might be Nike in terms of Vietnam, but it's all across the board, as Karen pointed out. And it is concerning. I think to Tim's point, though, where do you get in the stock? Now, the stock has sold off about 8% from its all-time high we made seemingly just a few weeks ago. I think that 150 level makes a lot of sense in earnings on the 23rd. This was a great note. And it's great to point these things out and to illustrate what's going on. And by the way, this speaks to inflation being more than just transitory, another conversation. But I think if you can buy Nike at 150, which is a level, if you recall back in June, stock went from about 125 to 150 in a straight line. That's your entry point, in my opinion.